We are still waiting for the declaration of the final results. We are here at the Accra International Conference Center, and this is Ghana Web Election Desk. Today, I have with me the director of the Atamils Institute, Koku Anyidoho. He's going to tell us how he's been observing the entire process and how it has been for him. Koku, good morning.
Good morning, Ghana Web.
Yeah. Tell me, first of all, where did you vote?
Well, the team was deployed. Well, personally, I led a team to the Volta region,
Okay.
strategically so. Of course, I have my vote there in Tanyigbe,
Mm.
but then, of course, I had to be there and observe for myself, considering all the information that did around pre-election as regards heavy military deployment in the region and some attempt, as it were, to intimidate voters. It didn't happen. Wherever we went in the Volta region, from the southern belt, the middle belt, and the northern belt,
Mm.
there was no form of intimidation at all, at all. So
Okay.
that's why I was in the Volta region. Of course, we had other teams, Ashanti region, also the stronghold of the MPP, to be able to observe and see whether some untoward happenings did go on there. Reports have it that no underhand dealings. Of course, we're in Greater Accra, we're in Central, we're in Eastern. So the teams have come out with solid reports that largely the election was free and fair. And for us at the Tamils Institute, I think that it's not premature to say Aiko to Mrs. Jean Mensah, the EC chair, and her team at the EC for rolling out
Mm.
a voting process that has sat well with the Republic of Ghana. I think that we can be very proud of ourselves because, as you know, prior to the elections,
Yeah.
all the attempt to clean up the register, create a new register, even the new BVDs, and all the talk that
Mm.
went around the introduction of these new BVDs, as if to say the EC was up to something upside down. It's obvious. Where I voted in Tanyigbe Apostolic Faith Church polling station, voting began around 5 minutes after 7.
Okay.
By 7:30, 20 people had already voted. Because as part of our observation processes, we have to observe the opening,
Yeah.
and the voting processes, then the closing.
Okay.
So voting began on time, the processes went well, and voting closed on time. Counting was done in the public, declarations were made in the public, agents were made to sign in the public, pink sheets given to the agents. So I think largely, as a nation, we can be very proud of
Okay.
ourselves.
You say it was free and fair, but you haven't talked about the peaceful aspect. That we've had pockets of violence in certain areas, so much so that there have been reported deaths and all that. What would you make of?
Well, those I can say are unfortunate.
Mm.
But where I observed, you're talking to me as an observer,
Yeah.
where the team observed, no violence. In the Volta region where I was, no violence. Not at all. Whole Central, whole West, Agotimeziopi, South Dai, whole Central, Adaklu, Ketu North, Ketu South. You know all the issues that surrounded,
Those areas
Ketu South.
prior to this.
That is the Aflao area.
Okay.
Then Ketu North, the Georgia area. So what we've heard about are things that happened elsewhere, not in the Volta region.
Mm.
Ashanti region, yes, we heard about Fomina, about some burning of the
The
EC's
EC.
office in
Yes.
Fomina, but that's an isolated case in Ashanti.
Okay.
Greater Accra, even in Onodiodio,
Mm.
which was touted to be a heavy, problematic place, I'm not sure Onodiodio burnt ashes. So, yes, incidences here and there, but I think largely we can say that the election was peaceful. I mean, to think that 48 hours, okay, so we finished voting 5 p.m. on
On
Monday.
Monday. Yeah.
Today is Wednesday.
Yeah.
We have not yet hit 5 p.m. of Wednesday, so we have not even done 48 hours
Okay.
after voting, let alone counting. All the 16 regions, Ghana is not burning. Always, all that we are doing is that we are waiting patiently for the EC to give us a final declaration. Of course, the media, you people, you are doing your own mathematics You are not doing any declaration. You are just doing mathematics
The
based
results
on
right.
results that have been declared at polling stations, and the law allows you so to do. So I think Ghanaians are seeing what the trend is. We'll just wait for the final declaration, and I'm sure it won't be too long that will be done.
What do you also make of the reactions from party leaders? I'm talking about the main political party leaders, the NPP and then the NDC, of which you also belong to. We've had series of, let's call them marathon of press conferences where they have their own assertions and everything after that. What do you make of all that?
Well, that is natural. Nature abhors vacuum. Nature abhors vacuum. So until the EC declares the final results, none of the political parties, especially the two major ones, MPP, NDC, will allow vacuum to be created. So what they are doing is that they are occupying space, which is allowed. They need to reassure their supporters, but you must do that with facts and figures.
Good,
That's what you need to do.
good.
Otherwise, holding press conferences between now and the final declaration is legitimate.
Is that
They
what you
have they
think is
have
being
no,
done?
they have millions of supporters, and they need to reassure their millions of supporters that this is what we have done. We thank you for coming out to vote. We believe that this is where we are. But if you hear both political parties, I think that they are still staying within the rules of the game.
You're sure that's the thing. Let's bring you quick back to 2016. I mean, you made a phrase which caught on
Yes, comfortable lead.
comfortably, and
That- yeah,
we are still
comfort,
seeing stuff like that
yes,
happening
comfortable.
now.
When I held that press conference in 2016 as
Yeah,
deputy general secretary
yeah.
of the NDC, don't forget that prior to that, Peter McMenu,
Mm.
who was the chairman of the NPP's campaign committee, had held a press conference much earlier. And so, like I'm saying, the political parties will not allow themselves to be undone. Once the NPP holds, the NDC will hold, and vice versa. So, comfortable lead was to say that yes, we are crunching numbers. And if the NPP had come out at the time, around midnight, to say they had won, NDC, per the numbers that we are crunching, we believe that we are in a comfortable lead as far as the presidential is concerned. It was not a declaration of results
Okay,
or declaration of victory.
okay.
It was just to reassure supporters that we believe, per numbers that had been crunched, per 120 constituencies, we believe that we were in a comfortable lead as far as presidential was
Can you
concerned.
say that is what is happening now? We've had the flag bearer and former president Mahama saying stuff like. They know that he's won 10 out of 16 regions, and then the general secretary also saying that if there's anybody who should be celebrating, it should be the NDC supporters and all that. Don't you think these are very
Oh,
concluding
when
statements?
when you are asked to celebrate, I don't think that it's a call to arms.
There've also been assertions of him calling the MPP flag bearer to concede defeat, even when the
Oh,
EC
oh, is that so?
hasn't. You haven't
Well, don't
seen
forget
words
that
on.
in 2016,
Mm,
the NDC flag bearer conceded defeat
okay.
before the EC declared results. So, if per his experience of having conceded defeat in 2016, he thinks that the incumbent president should do so, it may be based on his experience, but it doesn't mean that because he did it in 2016, it will repeat itself in 2020. But otherwise, history has it that in 2016, before the EC, Madame Charlotte Osei, could declare results, the NDC's flag bearer and the incumbent president at the time conceded defeat based on numbers that he had. So, assuming the current president also has numbers, that tells him that he's in the lead. Why should he concede defeat?
So there's nothing wrong with what is happening right
No,
now.
no, no. Yesterday, assuming one political party asked its supporters to go onto the streets, has that happened? It hasn't happened.
No, but when you visit on the streets, yeah, you see a few supporters in party vehicles playing
Oh
loud
no, no,
music
they're
and
allowed.
dancing,
Oh, they're
uh,
allowed to.
uh,
No, no, there's no law
seem
against that.
victorious.
No, no, there's no law against that. If a group of people decide that out of the law of freedom of association, they can gather on today, Wednesday, and begin to sing songs of victory, they haven't disturbed the peace of the nation. They haven't engaged in any violent conduct. They are only telling themselves that we believe that we have won. It's totally legit. Until they begin to create problems for security, why? Let's allow them to feel that way. And as it is, I believe that before close of day today, because if yesterday's press conference by Madam Mrs. Jean Mensah is anything to go by, it means we have 14 regions that have come in out of the 16, left with two. And when she was addressing the nation yesterday, she believed that by close of day yesterday, the extra two would have come in. So, ceteris paribus, the two should have come in by now. And give and take, I'm sure before midday, well, okay, let me not go ahead of the EC. Let me just say, ceteris paribus, the two regions should have joined. So by now, the EC should have 16. Whatever it is, I want to believe that by close of day today, Wednesday. So they gave us 24 hours, but it wasn't cast in iron. It was like, we believe that the systems that we have put in place in 24 hours, we can declare. They were being honest again, came yesterday and said, we couldn't meet 24 hours. So no knife will go to the neck of the EC because they are being honest. Because then again, they just want Ghanaians to accept whatever results that the Ghanaians themselves have produced. So let's wait and see if it's 24. No, of course, we've gone past 24 hours. So if it is 48 hours, it won't go to 72. I doubt if it will go to 72.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for thank you.
But so we have been speaking to the director of the Atamils Institute and former NDC General Secretary Koku Anyidoho. He's convinced that we won't go to 72 hours, but what he has observed and how the